Hello and welcome to Startup Street. I'm Arundathi Ramanan and with me is Shruti Mishra. These are the top headlines from the startup world. Ready to talk with startups that are looking to move overseas, says Finance Minister Nirmala Sitaraman in her address at the think tank in Washington, D.C., noting that startups are turning to more listing and regulatory-friendly nations such as Singapore and UAE. The Finance Minister assures that the government will do as much as it can to help them stay in India.
Craft beer brand Bira 91 acquires the beer cafe as it seeks to expand its retail presence. Bira wants to seat itself at beer cafe's 30-odd pubs and tap rooms located across 15 cities in India. Beer cafe's management will stay put to lead the brand's operations.
More dry powder in store for Indian startups. Fireside Ventures raises $225 million for its third fund. Plans to invest in 25 to 30 digital-first consumer startups makes Fireside the latest India-focused VC to set up a new fund alongside Sequoia, Axel, Elevation Matrix, and others.
Government test prep platform Adda 24/7 bags $35 million in its latest funding round led by Westbridge Capital. Google joins as a new investor in this round, which also saw participation from existing investors, InfoEdge and Asha Impact.
Thrasio founder Carlos Cashman bets big on Assidious, an Indian startup that helps D2C brands find scale on global e-commerce marketplaces. Pulsar Capital led the $15 million funding round with participation from 9 Unicorns, Venture Catalyst, Stronger VC, and others.
Tiger Global adds EV solution startup Vecmocon to its portfolio as it continues to hunt for early-stage startups in India. Bloom Ventures and angel investors too participated in the $5 million funding round for the startup, which seeks to make EVs safe in India.
Byju announces it will lay off 2,500 employees, says the company is on the path to profitability and hopes to achieve it by March 2023. And moving on what's brewing today, with an aim to raise awareness about health and wellness for men, Good Health Company commenced operations in January of 2021. After seeing steady growth, the company also launched a vertical for women called Saturn by GHC. Now, the Hyderabad-based startup, which offers a full-stack solution for patients with conditions like hair fall, sexual health, and weight loss, among others, has raised $10 million in a Series A funding round. The round was led by Left Lane Capital, with participation from existing investors like Khosla Ventures, Quiet Capital, and Weekend Fund. So how does the company plan to use these funds and what's the growth plan? We are now joined by the company's founder and CEO, Samarth Sindhi. Samarth, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Good Health Company launched with a focus on men's personal care, and you launched your operations only in January of 2021. So take us through the kind of traction you've seen. What's the growth been like so far?
Thanks so much for having me, guys. It's been exciting 18 months. I think we've grown a lot faster than we kind of ever thought. But I think that we've been able to solve a clear problem that's kind of out there, where people don't want to talk about sexual health. People don't want to talk about hair fall and all of these problems. We're able to give people a safe space to come to get a free consultation, learn what the best kind of course of treatment is. And I think that's kind of what's allowed us to grow as quickly as we have. We've today done over 2 million consultations and served over 250,000 people at this point.
All right. Also, congratulations on the fundraise. Can you take us through how you plan to allocate these funds? What's your focus areas at this point?
So the idea is, over the last 18 months, we've launched multiple categories across men and women. So we have hair fall, sexual health, skincare, and weight loss for men. And then we more recently launched hair fall and skincare for women. The idea is to use these funds to continue to launch categories in both the men's and women's spaces. So in the near future, we plan on adding menstrual health. We plan on adding PCOS and PCOD. Related solutions for women's health, and the idea is to also start developing offline clinics where people can kind of come in, get free consultations, and also just find kind of like people who are not super comfortable getting these consultations done online, go to their neighborhood kind of GHC clinic and just learn more about their condition and get a course of treatment there.
All right. So now that you spoke about women's health as well, what is the kind of demand you're seeing on the consultation products for Mars and Saturn? Take us through the solutions that are now available for women. Samarth? I think we've got you on a bad line there. Did you hear the question?
Sorry. Sorry, I lost you back there.
Yeah, okay. So I was just wondering, can you take us through how Mars and Saturn have been performing right now, and also the new solutions that you've launched for women?
The women's section, so our men's section has been around for the full 18 months, and it's been growing steadily. I think we've seen a lot of demand, especially in the sexual health and hair fall categories. But the women's launch has been super exciting. I think we've seen some kind of spillover from men in the same household talking potentially to women around them, and that's actually created some sort of leverage for us from that perspective. And in terms of traction, we've seen just a lot stronger and a lot kind of quicker response with the women's health section as well.
All right, so you're seeing a quicker response to your women side of the products, but one of the things you're also going to use your fundraise for is to launch new product categories. So take us through what you already have on offer, both men and women. You've already explained, so what you have on offer for the men, and what's the product pipeline looking like? What's your monetization model? How are you making money at this point?
Right. Today with men, we have hair fall, sexual health, weight loss, and skincare. The idea is to add new indications within this. So with hair fall, we plan on adding products and course of treatment for both dandruff and premature graying. With sexual health, tackle more problems in terms of not just erectile dysfunction, but also premature ejaculation, and also create more coaching-based services that people can kind of solve the psychological aspect in sexual health disorders. And similarly in weight loss, today we have weight loss inhibitor. We have appetite suppressors, but the idea would be to also add a coaching aspect to it, and give people access to nutritionists. So the way our monetization model works is we've actually subsidized the cost of consultation, just made it accessible to consultations accessible to people for basically no cost, and all of our revenue today comes from the sale of products through our platform.
All right. What are your current revenues looking like? What's the revenue mix? So like you earlier mentioned, your women's side of things is seeing more traction. So will the focus remain on men's personal care going forward?
The women's category is growing faster than the men's category. But that being said, just because our men's category has been around for longer, it is still the larger product line for us. The idea is just continue to focus on both, but and continue to expand and continue to kind of expand our product lines across each of these platforms. But the idea remains just to deepen kind of our focus within each of these categories with equal focus. I'd say.
But what's the current revenues that you're clocking, Samarth?
Sorry?
What are the kind of revenues you're clocking?
We've been growing very quickly. We are now serving like 200,000 people per month. So we haven't spoken a lot about our revenues publicly at this point.
Okay, all right, Samarth. Samarth, we wish you all the best going forward, but we're completely out of time. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, moving on the hot seat today, we put the spotlight on Up, previously known as React Labs. Up is a hardware technology-based startup and has raised $800,000 in its pre-seed funding round. In fact, the round was led by Tim Draper of Draper Associates, an early investor in breakthrough products like Tesla, AngelList, Coinbase, Switch, Skype, and Hotmail. The round also saw investments from Stanford Angels and Entrepreneurs of India, Tarun Mehta and Swapnil Jain, co-founders of Aether Energy, Gaurav Munjal and Roman Seni, co-founders of Unacademy, among other angel investors. Now, to talk about the road ahead at Up, joining me now is its co-founder and CTO, Mohit Sharma. Mohit, welcome to Startup Street. You've got Tim Draper on board. What does his backing mean to you? What conversations you've had with him? And most importantly, what made the cut for him?
Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you so much for having all of us here. Tim Draper's website has this line about their investments, taking long odds on extraordinary outcomes. The conversations we had with them primarily revolved around this very major theme. India today is like Japan in the 1950s. The market is here, the design is here, and there's a big consumer class who no one builds appliances for. We were all, I think, very clear that the next major brand is going to come out of India. We all spoke about our differentiated approach to hardware and appliances, connected technologies, and rapid product development. What does it mean to have Tim Draper on board? Tim Draper on board is great validation for what we are out to do. Someone with that kind of a track record taking a bet on you means that you're doing you're doing things the right way, the way all these giants before us have done. So yeah.
All right. Now, in addition to your stellar lineup of investors, consumers from the beta testing program have also turned into mini angel investors of Up after using the product. Who are these investors and how does this model work and help you?
So a little about the model first. So we are all about consumer and loop development. In the 2020s, our consumers already have hopes and aspirations. They already understand what it is that they want and what it is that they desire. So with this in mind, we wanted to co-build with our consumers. This model involves people keeping the deli shop at home for a week at a time and us collecting feedback. And it led to some fantastic new insights for how people love to cook. Modern people love cooking together rather than an individual in the kitchen. The kinds of recipes requests that came in, the kind of feature requests that came in. Someone asked us to build a pause button on the deli shop, which is unheard of in any appliance, right? So that's how consumers, helped us kind of develop the product better. Seeing this whole partnership, I believe conviction was built on both sides. These consumers are people like you and me, and they wanted to come on board as angel investors. We created a vehicle for them to essentially.
Okay. So now let's talk about your first product, Delish Up. It has already been in advanced beta for the past 6 months and in 120 homes in Bengaluru. I believe the deliveries begin next month. If you could elaborate on this offering, what pain point are you trying to solve and how does it stop homes from eating boring food, which is something the product claims?
Oh, every time someone asks the question, "Aaj khane mein kya hai?" It's a question filled with optimism, met with disappointment. Or something like dal, sabzi, chawal, right?
Yeah.
Delish Up's promise is essentially non-boring food, absolutely interesting food. Connected device that lets you cook new things every single day, that helps you stir, chop, saute, cut. It basically helps you ensure that you are cooking new things without the stress of all of the things that new cooking involves. Right? So fantastic new recipes help in cooking these. Absolutely incredible food at the end of it. You can ask the 120 homes to back the product.
Okay. So tell me, what is the kind of demand you're seeing with Delish Up? How many bookings have you, made till date? And what is the price of the product?
Absolutely. So Bangalore has been an incredible super hit for us. We are completely booked out on all of our slots for all of November. We now see new orders coming in from outside of Bangalore too. In fact, a couple of people attempted to make credit card payments from outside of India, which is how we realized there is probably demand outside of India as well. So we are racking up orders every week. The Delish Up has seen 100 households all over Bangalore.
Okay.
And our plans essentially to begin pan-India deliveries in January. Pre-order price is 17,999, which goes up to 24,999 post-launch.
Okay, all right, quite competitively priced. But how can one order this product? Who have you partnered with? Also, where are you manufacturing Delish Up and at what capacity?
So people can order the product directly off our website. That's upliance.ai. Upliance is upliance.ai. We are doing D2C right now. We will partner with e-commerce sites in the near future.
Okay.
And for manufacturing, we are committed to manufacturing in India. We have multiple contract manufacturers. We can take our capacity up to about 1 lakh products a year.
Okay. All right. How many more products are in the pipeline? How are you enabling people to level up their lives? What else are you working on?
Right. So short answer very quickly, tons of products in the pipeline, refrigerators, geysers, washing machines, microwaves, and many more at the concept level.
Okay.
The focus today is Delish Up. Essentially, no one's built for the Indian consumer and the Indian market for the last 50 years. And this is the second largest market, the largest outside China. Our sense is that with sensing and actuation layered on top of existing technologies and building experience the right way is the way to build relevant products for this country, just like the Delish Up does for cooking.
Okay. Now, one final question before I let you go. Both Mahek and you have led technology at consumer-facing businesses. What have been your learnings? And with the advent of 5G, how do you see that enabling your business growth?
So essential learnings, faster speeds for data typically lead to new paradigms. 3G led to smartphones. We've both worked on 4G with electric motorcycles, electric scooters, chai machines. Fundamentally new paradigm. We believe non-phone devices are essentially going to be the heart of 5G. And that's exactly where we are sitting, right? So yeah, that's what 5G is going to do for us.
Okay, all right, Mohit, we've completely run out of time, but many thanks for joining us today and wish you the very best with your first product.
Thank you. Thank you.
And in news just coming in, EdTech unicorn Byju has announced that it will lay off 2,500 employees. The company added that it is on the path to profitability and hopes to achieve this by March 2023. Shilpa Ranipeta is here with all of those details. Shilpa?
Well, Byju has announced that it's making several changes to its business to optimize the business, and a part of this is laying off 5% of its 50,000 strong workforce, which will be 2,500 employees. And this will be across the product, content, media and technology teams, and this will be in a phased manner. Now, the layoff, like I said, is part of a larger business optimization measures that the company is taking. Now, this also includes Byju's consolidating its K10 business, and this will be into one unit, and it will also include its recent acquisitions of Topper, Tutor Vista, Scholar, amongst others. However, Aakash and Great Learning, these two will continue to function as separate business units. It is also looking at optimizing its marketing budget. So instead of focusing on local marketing, it will now focus more on overseas marketing. It's also reinventing its sales model, where it will focus, it will not have sales persons going out. It will be more of video calls, and this, it says, will save costs for the companies. It will it will reduce operational costs. And all of this, remember, now comes at the time where the losses for the company have been surging. It surged to about 4,500 crores in FY21, and there were also reports of audit delays, post which these results were announced. And there were also reports of it not paying its dues for the Aakash educational deal also to Blackstone, which it now recently settled by paying $234 million.
All right, Shilpa, many thanks for those details. Appreciate you joining us. So there's Byju that's laying off 2,500 people and is eyeing to turn profitable by March 2023. On that note, it's time for us to head into a short break. Coming up next, SaaS-based digital platform Whatfix is betting big on the APAC region. A special conversation with the company's co-founder. On the other side, stay tuned.